Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this afternoon, I guess you could say, for another album review. This is the 8th album review I'm doing. It was supposed to be out of the 9, but now I've just received news that uh, Drag Me Out has not released their album today. So I'm just concerned. I'm like, are they delaying it or are they releasing it? So I don't know what's going on that aspect of the album coming out or whatever, but we'll just wait and see what they decide to do. But yeah, this is for LMA's new album, Heart on My Sleeve. On My Sleeve, I meant to say. Heart on My Sleeve is the album I'm reviewing for you guys today. So I'm gonna discuss what I listened to for this new album by LMA, Hard on My Sleeve, and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this album review. Now, I did remember reviewing her self-titled in 2018, and I did enjoy it. It was good. This one, however, is an improvement, but it's still good. So, uh, it's a good step up in a new direction for LMA in 2022. So she's still making some good songs. Um, Basically, the first song, Trying, is not a bad song. I think it's a solid track. It's not the worst thing I've heard from LMA. So, yeah, 4.5 out of 5 for me. It's an interesting opener to the album, I meant to say. Next is Not Another Love Song, and I remember reviewing that, I think last year, if I remember correctly, and I didn't hate that song for what it was going for, so 4.5 out of 5. Didn't Say featuring Lotto, or however you pronounce her name. She was not bad rapping, and LMA was actually sounding pretty good in the song itself, so 4.5 out of 5. Break My Heart was another pretty solid track. There's quite a bit of solid tracks on this album. Just letting you guys know that I gave below 5 out of 5 ratings. Um, so 4.5 out of 5 for Break My Heart. I kind of did enjoy the lyrics that LMA came up with the song, and basically the overall production of the song actually did pretty well. And sorry, I was making sure my phone was charged at 100% because I got to review another album after this one, of course. I got two more albums to review, and then I'll move on to some singles after that because I don't know if Drag Me Out is dropping their new album, unfortunately. Uh, I'm thinking maybe next week they'll drop it, uh, but we'll just wait and see. Fallen Angel is a pretty solid track. I did enjoy the melody to it and the way LMA was singing the song, so 4.5 out of 5. How featuring Roddy Rich is a pretty solid track too. I forgot to mention in Falling Angel, it leads into the next song, which is How. There's like a choir singing and a guy preaching in the song. Uh, at the end of the track, I mean, for the Fallen Angel song. So it does drag on for a bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a pretty solid track. And also, Not Another Love Song actually had, I think, Mary J. Blige talking at the end of the track after El Mays finishes the song for the 3 minutes and 30 something seconds of the track. And it was actually a pretty interesting, uh, I guess, interlude kind of thing where Mary J. Blige was talking for 30-40 seconds and giving her advice to LMA on what she should do as a singer and all that. So, yeah, pretty inspirational words from Mary J. Blige. So 4.5 out of 5 for that as well. Um, How was pretty good. I don't know if it's my favorite right now, but I gotta come back and listen to this album in full again to see what I really think of it. But it's a pretty solid track, so 4.5 out of 5. Pieces was actually pretty catchy. I quite enjoyed that song for what it was going for. Um, Ella May sounded pretty good in that song, and the beat was actually better than I thought than the other 6 songs that I heard. So, pretty strong track, so I really like it. 5 out of 5 for me. Don't Fuck Me Up, I think is what the song's called. Um, Dfmu. And that was a solid track. I didn't hate it too much, so I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. I remember reviewing it, if I remember correctly, this year sometime, but it wasn't a bad song. It was just solid. So it's sort of a strong track. 4.5 out of 5. Hide was a pretty good song. I really enjoyed how Ella May singing the track, and the moments in the song are pretty strong. So 5 out of 5 for this one. Power of a Woman had a pretty catchy beat to it, and the way that Ella May is singing the song, like I said, still really good. It actually executed very well, this track, production and mixing wise. So even the beat was pretty good to it as well. So 5 out of 5. A Mess featuring Lucky Day. Wasn't sure if I was feeling for the repetitiveness with we're breaking up or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. They repeated a repetitive lyric, both Lucky Day and LMA, towards the end of the song. It kind of got repetitive, and I was just like, I don't know. This was getting a bit annoying. But still, 4 out of 5. It's a decent song. It's not the worst song, but in my personal opinion, it's decent. So, 4 out of 5. Feels Like was a pretty solid track. I kind of enjoyed the song as a whole of what it was going for. So 4.5 out of 5. Then we get to the last 3 songs, Leave You Alone, Sink or Swim, and Fading Out. I think Leave You Alone actually had a pretty catchy beat, but some of the production tends to drift away from what the song's going for. And some of the lyrics are pretty alright. Not great lyrics, but in my opinion, they're pretty solid lyrics. So 4.5 out of 5. Sink or Swim, like I said, that I mentioned a moment ago. Pretty swift track. It's an interesting song to get through, in my opinion, but yeah, it's the second to last song, and the final track really closes the album out pretty well. So 5 out of 5 for Fading Out. I quite enjoyed it. There were some lyrics in there I wasn't sure if I was feeling for, but still, the song did pretty flawless, so it was a good closer to this album. Overall, production, mixing, and execution, I think LMA Hard on My Sleeve was a good listen. Highly recommend you check her sophomore album out, and overall, I think LMA Hard on My Sleeve album was a good listen. Highly recommend you check it out, which it did come out today, so you can definitely go listen to it on YouTube right now. And first score for me, I'm giving LMA Hard on My Sleeve album an 8 out of 10. This was a good listen. Like I said, I highly recommend you check this album out. And I really didn't hate this album too much. It's as good as the last album, her self-titled. And the self-titled was pretty interesting. There may have been some songs I wasn't sure if I was feeling for. But other than that, didn't hate the album for her sophomore album. So it's a good improvement and some interesting songs on this album. So 8 out of 10 for me. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the LMA album Heart on My Sleeve if you've heard it. And if you enjoyed this album review that I did for her sophomore album, Heart on My Sleeve, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can, support the channel. I don't know if the video's freezing on my end or something, but it feels like it's running a bit slow, I guess you could say, with on my end, but if it's working on your end, then that's great. I'll have to test out the video when I upload it on YouTube. Uh, but still, I hope you enjoyed this album review for LMA Heart on My Sleeve. Keep in mind, I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Sorry, my nose is a little itchy. But yeah, I'll have another 2 more album reviews to review, and they'll be for Wind Waker. Like I said, my nose is pretty itchy. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, I'll have 2 more albums to review: Wind Waker, Love Language, and Upon a Burning Body, Fury. So I'm going to check those albums out and see what I think of them. But until then, hope you enjoyed this album review for LMA Heart on My Sleeve. Keep in mind, I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Stay safe, take care, guys, and as always, I will see you in my next review.